Get away from me.
You ain't gonna do nothing to get yourself in trouble.
I have a restraining order on you.
Call the police. That's my people.
That's what she was on.
Hey! Get the off her, King! Leave her alone, I'm calling the cops! Come here, girl! Come here! Don't you hurt her! Hey! Leave her alone!
Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode. My name is Ava, and today we delve into the tragic case of Shakeia Allen, a 27-year-old woman whose life was brutally cut short in a senseless act of violence. This is not just a story of loss, it's a stark reminder of the dangers of domestic violence and the urgent need for stronger protective measures. Please like and subscribe to our channel as we bring you real-life stories every week. Shakeia Allen was a vibrant and adventurous 27-year-old woman from Baltimore, Maryland. She was a devoted mother to a beautiful daughter. Her loved ones described her as a loving and driven individual. She had a passion for fashion and makeup, enjoyed travel, and was known for her beautiful smile and warm heart. By all accounts, she was a bright star to her friends and family, someone who sought out experiences that pushed her limits and awakened her passions. But behind this bright exterior, Shakeia was dealing with a dark reality, a toxic and increasingly dangerous relationship with her former boyfriend, Amir Johnson. Shakeia met Amir while working at an Amazon warehouse, and they soon became inseparable. He attended many of her family events and seemingly fit in well with everyone. Yet, what began as a seemingly perfect relationship soon began to deteriorate. According to reports, law enforcement was called to their residence on multiple occasions due to domestic disturbances. In February 2024, things came to a head when Shakeia tried to move out of their shared home. During this attempt, Amir assaulted her and was arrested. He was found to have a concealed handgun in his waistband.
If you're trying to elevate your life and stuff like that, why you can't separate yourself from your old crowd and it's no hard feelings or anything?
Shakeia, determined to leave this relationship, moved to a new apartment and sought a restraining order against Amir. This move was a step to protect herself and is a common action that many victims of domestic violence take to ensure their safety. But it was not enough in this case. A hearing for the protection order was dismissed because both parties failed to appear in court. This dismissal, a bureaucratic lapse, would have devastating consequences. On Sunday, April 21st, 2024, in broad daylight, Amir Johnson confronted Shakeia at her new apartment. A chilling video, captured by a neighbor, shows Shakeia running away from him, desperately pleading for her life. She could be heard screaming, "I have a restraining order against you." Despite her cries and pleas from neighbors to leave her alone, Amir pursued her relentlessly. He shot her multiple times until she fell to the ground. Witnesses stated that after the shooting, Amir calmly walked away from the scene as if nothing had happened. The casualness of his departure and the lack of remorse are particularly disturbing, painting a picture of a calculated act of violence. The neighbor's video went viral, highlighting the brutality of the attack. Police arrived to find Shakeia dead in the parking lot. The scene was at the Renew apartment complex in a typically quiet neighborhood in Nottingham, Maryland. Police have called the shooting a targeted incident and emphasized that this was not a random act of violence. They believe that Shakeia was deliberately targeted by Amir Johnson. As of January 2025, Amir has not been apprehended, but authorities believe he may have fled to Brooklyn, New York. The police are actively trying to find him. What is particularly disturbing about this case is that Shakeia did everything she could to protect herself. She moved, she sought a restraining order, she tried to break free. Despite her efforts, the system failed her. This highlights a critical issue. Restraining orders, while providing some legal protection, are often not enough to prevent determined aggressors from carrying out acts of violence. This case also raises the issue of victim blaming. Some may wonder why Shakeia didn't do more or why she didn't leave sooner. But such questions miss the point. Domestic violence situations are complex and dangerous. It takes immense courage and strength to leave an abusive relationship. In this case, Shakeia did take all the right steps. However, her efforts were tragically thwarted by a man determined to see her demise. This case is also part of a larger pattern of violence against Black women. It's a national tragedy, and the stories of women like Shakeia are often pushed aside by the 24-hour news cycle. As a society, we must refuse to forget these stories and ensure that they are heard and that action is taken to prevent further tragedies. The community has rallied behind Shakeia's family and is offering rewards for information leading to the arrest of Amir Johnson. If you have any information related to this case, please call 410-307-2020. Information can also be provided anonymously by contacting Metro Crime Stoppers at 1-866-756-2587. The tragic murder of Shakeia Allen is a stark reminder of the urgent need for comprehensive strategies to combat domestic violence. Here's what can be done. Strengthen protective orders. Provide better enforcement mechanisms to ensure they are not just pieces of paper, but effective means of protection. Increase awareness. Educate the public about the warning signs of abusive relationships and how to safely leave them. Support victims. Offer resources and support systems for victims of domestic violence, including safe housing and counseling services. Address the root causes. Explore the societal factors that contribute to domestic violence and address them through policy and social change. Women should be careful who they date. Getting to know someone on a deeper level is crucial to finding out if they have violent tendencies. Let's remember Shakeia Allen and use her story as a catalyst for change. Her life matters, and her death should not be in vain. We owe it to her and all victims of domestic violence to create a society where they can live free from fear. We send our deepest condolences to Shakeia's family and friends.
And it's like now she's not here. And I just miss her. Yeah, I just miss my girl.
Before we sign off, remember that these aren't just stories. They're real lives, real tragedies, and real people who are forever changed by unimaginable pain. Each case we explore represents shattered families, lost dreams, and irreplaceable human connections. Until next time, know that in the darkness of these stories, compassion and understanding can be a light. Thank you for watching. Please stay tuned for commentary by DJ.
Hey everyone, DJ here. And I want to say this case have gotten me really worked up. It seems kind of personal to me because of some stuff that has been going on in my life recently. You know, Shakeia was a woman trying to live her life and she made a mistake by getting with Amir Johnson. And if you look at the video of Amir when he was chasing her in the street, you could see that he's wearing a do-rag. And if Shakeia was my daughter and she brought that boy to the house, I would have tell her straight up, don't ever bring him back. Guys wearing do-rags is a red flag. Usually, they're thugs. And you definitely don't want to be dating a thug. And when you meet someone, you have to analyze them. Everything about them. The type of clothing they wear. You know, if someone is wearing their pants way off their waist, that's not somebody you want to date. If that person is wearing a do-rag, yeah, I'll pass. Because let me tell you something. Can someone be wearing a do-rag and be okay? Yeah, of course. But the likelihood is that that person who's wearing a do-rag is from the hood and they're a thug. That's not somebody you want to be dating. And as a father, that's not somebody I want dating my daughter. Because it's like Russian roulette. Is he good? Is he not good? Is he sane? Is he insane? Who knows? Do you really want to find out? Now, I'm currently watching a true crime show. And a true crime is real stories. This is not reality TV, okay? And it's called Obsession, Dark Desires. And you could find it on Amazon Prime if you have a Discovery Plus subscription. And if you don't have that, you could also see My Crazy Ex. You could also find that on Amazon Prime. And if you go and watch these episodes and see what these women go through, they're being stalked, murdered, abused. I recommend, if you really want to get into the mind of the victim, watch Obsession, Dark Desires. And when you finish watching even one episode, you'll have an idea of what victims go through. And that's exactly what Shakeia was going through. She realized this guy was not right in his head and she wanted to get away. But you know, if Shakeia had taken her time before getting involved with this dude, she wouldn't end up in that situation that she was in. But I'm sure she saw him on the job. She thought he was cute and he wanted to get with her and they got together. Yeah, that's not the way to do it. You got to slow down. There's too many crazy people out here. You got to start eliminating people from the jump. And I'm not talking about if somebody is short or tall. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the way they dress, the way they speak. If they're using the N word, they're using the B word. This is not people you want to get in a relationship with. You know what one of the biggest red flags is? A man who carries around an illegal gun. Do you know there are many women who know that their boyfriend or husband have an illegal gun and they do nothing about it? They just stay in the relationship until one day he decides to turn the gun on them. Don't wait for that guy to get angry and turn that gun on you. Let me tell you something about thugs and lowlives and people with no morals. Those type of people have no problem with abusing you, beating you up, and ultimately murdering you. Don't take a chance with your life dealing with low quality guys. For what? Because you think they're cute? Because they got a tattoo? Now I'm watching an episode. There's a 17-year-old girl, comes from a good family. She wants to get away from her family because they're so strict. She decides to go off on her own at 17, move out of her parents' house. The first day she moves into her apartment, she meets a guy. The guy got tattoos all over him. The guy has no respect, but she decides she wants a bad boy. And you can see this story if you watch Obsession, Dark Desires. It's in season 1. And this guy, you could take one look at him and see his bad news. She goes ahead and gets into a relationship with him. One day, he punches her in the back of her head. No particular reason. Next time, he punches her in the face. She stays. She said she thought that's love. And you know, some victims actually, they put themselves in a bad situation. And this girl, she got away from him. And he kept calling her. And she decides to go back to his house to collect her belongings. And I'm wondering what belongings she has that is so important that she's willing to risk her life to get them. She goes back to the house and he ties her up and sexually abused her. Eventually, she finally got away from him. It was like 2 months later, he murdered another girl he was in a relationship with. So when I say women say they want bad boys, someone was arguing with me in the comments saying, no, that's not true. I don't know if that person was living under a rock, but let me tell you something. There are many women that have said that. If you look at a lot of these cases, you would see that these guys that they got with are bad boys. Guys in prison, guys that are thugs, guys that got criminal history. Why would a woman even put herself with somebody like that? Because they like the bad boy. But you don't understand that that quote-unquote bad boy has no morals. He don't care about his own mother. Why the hell would he care about you? Let me tell you a personal story as it relates to this case. I have a stepdaughter. And when she was 14, 15, she wanted to date. And her mother and I told her, don't worry about boys. Boys are always going to be there. Focus on school. But she didn't want to listen. She got to 16 and we basically couldn't stop her from doing whatever she wanted to do. So we just had to allow her to date. So over the period of a year, she dated 2 guys. The first guy, she went on one date with him. She wanted to get out of the relationship because it was long distance and for whatever other reason she didn't want to be with him. And when she did that, he started calling her names and saying that she can't be with anybody else, she's his and all of that. And then she moved on and she found another guy to date. And at first this guy seemed okay. But then he was telling her she shouldn't spend time with her friends. And this guy was 18 and at that time she was 16. And I couldn't believe that a young man as young as 18 was trying to control a woman. And that just shows you how women are being viewed, even young women, by young men. At that age, they're thinking that they can control you. Thankfully, she got rid of the second boyfriend, but you wouldn't believe that this guy would not give up. He kept love bombing her, bringing her roses, stopping by, dropping by candy and roses. And I told my stepdaughter, I said, listen, this is not a good sign. I've been watching cases for a long time, and this guy has the potential to be dangerous. And my daughter did not take us seriously. She thought it was all a joke until she realized that the guy would not stop. And her mother had to get involved and speak to him. A couple of months later, my daughter started dating again. And the guy found out that she was dating. That's when he contacted her again. He wanted to come by our house. So he told her that he's coming by to pick up whatever stuff he had here. And he had a game controller and a sweater. So my wife told him not to come to the house. She's going to drop it off. And this guy went on a long rant in a text message telling us how we should be raising our daughter. And his grandmother got involved in the nonsense, taking his side. And this is why I'm trying to tell you that a lot of men that grow up to be abusers and stalkers, they were enabled as a child by their parents and by their grandparents. But I think the lesson here is that if an adult woman can't stop a man from stalking her, a teenage girl definitely can't stop a teenage boy from doing it. The good news is my daughter is okay, and for her, it's a lesson learned. But for a lot of other teenage girls, it's hell for them. And some of them actually have been physically hurt or have been killed, just like Shakeia. And even grown women who are dating don't have a clue how to date. They don't have a clue how to vet a man. They just say, oh, he's tall, he's handsome, that's it. That's all the criteria they're looking for. And I'll tell you right now, that's not enough. That's 1% of what you think you might be looking for. You got to ask yourself, does this man have a criminal history? Is he a good man? Does he respect women? Does he respect his mother? Does he have ambition? Does he have decorum? This is the questions you need to be finding out before getting involved with low lives. So Shakeia tried to get away from Amir. When she was moving out, he assaulted her. When the cops came, they found a gun on him. Now, once they found a gun on this guy, Shakeia should have disappeared somewhere. And I'm not faulting her because she did try to get away, okay? She moved out to get away from this guy because she realized she was dangerous. The problem is, he knew where she was moving to. If you're moving away from somebody that's abusive, you can't let them know where you're going. Because I'm telling you, these type of guys, they think they own you like your property, like your cattle. They're not going to let you get away. I was watching another case. This woman, she was married to an NFL player. And there was a guy from high school, a guy she hardly even knew, never even been involved with. He was just obsessed with her. And she's been running from this guy for like 10 years. He spent 10 years just hunting this woman down, trying to kill her for no reason. So one day, she's at home with her husband. And a parole officer calls her and tells her that her life is in danger. And the guy skipped a meeting with the parole officer. So he calls her and tells her her life is in danger. You know what she did? She did nothing. She just stayed home. She could have gone to her parents. She could have gone to a hotel. She could have contacted the cops. She could have gone to her friend's house. There's so many things she could have done. She did nothing. Guess what happened? The guy came to the house, broke in, and almost killed her. She only survived because of luck. The cops got there and they got him before he was able to harm her. If you end up in a situation like that and you have somebody obsessed with you, just like Shakeia, Amir was obsessed with her and he wasn't going to let her go. You got to find a way to get away. The only way to get away is for that person to not know where you are. You have to quit your job, move from where you're living, making sure he doesn't know where you're living. And you got to stay in hiding. There's no other option. If someone is threatening your life, get yourself a gun, get yourself a weapon. If it's legal, get yourself one. Protect yourself. Because when you're dead and gone, only your family members, your close family members are going to remember you. Everybody else just forget about you. And the murderer, you know what happens to them? A lot of them is just sitting in jail getting 3 square meals, watching TV, listening to music, having sex with each other. Yeah, they're living life while you're gone. Your kids are never going to get to see you again. It's unfair that women are being hunted and persecuted in this day and age. This has been happening for a long time and there's no solution. Politicians have no solution. They don't care about women. So let me ask you this. When Shakeia was being chased down in the street in broad daylight in front of all her neighbors, who stepped in to help her? There's nobody. When you're being subject to abuse and you're being victimized, you're alone. There's nobody there. It's just you and your persecutor. There's nobody. And some of these women, they didn't speak up. They didn't ask for help. If you're a victim and somebody's abusing you, speak up. Tell somebody. Hopefully somebody's going to help you. Somebody's going to stand up for you, or somebody's going to help you hide, or somebody's going to, give you a donation or something to help you. I see too many victims, they're being abused and they just staying silent, hoping it's going to go away. It's not going to go away. These guys are obsessed with you. The only thing that's going to happen is you're going to stay being abused, or you're going to have the strength to get away from them. Now, Shakeia was being abused for the duration of the relationship. Cops were being called to their apartment many times because this guy was just acting the fool. And it escalated until he decided he's going to kill her. You know the worst part about this case? The worst part is that they haven't caught Amir. They haven't caught the murderer. And let me tell you something, okay? I support the cops, but they haven't done enough to catch this guy, man. They need to put together a task force and go find this guy. He didn't disappear off the face of the earth. He needs to be in jail. I will bet any amount of money that Amir's family is hiding him. They supported him because obviously he can't get a job. Somebody is hiding him. And I'm telling you, it's his family. And that's what people do. They protect their family. Even when their family murder somebody, even when their family abused victims, they still support them. I have a son and he's 2.5 right now. I'm going to teach him to respect women and to respect everyone. And I'm going to teach him how to behave and how to dress and all of that. And if he grows up to be an adult and turns into a criminal, let me tell you something. I will disown him so fast. I will not support him. If the cops come and tell me your son did this and we have the evidence and they show me the evidence, I will not support my son. I would support the victims and I would speak out and apologize to the victims for what my son has done. And this is what I have not been seeing. I could count on one hand how many times I've seen the murderer's family express remorse for the victim. And many times when the man is married to the woman, you're at the wedding and his two families joining in all this sort of nonsense. And when the man end up killing the woman, all of a sudden, they don't care about the woman anymore. All they care about is their blood, the murderer. They make up 1,000 excuses for the man's behavior. And when you ask yourself why this man is behaving like this, just look at his family and you can see why. He was never held accountable for anything that he's done in his life. That's why he's turned out like that. Because now he murdered someone and his family is still protecting him. They're still supporting him. And they're forgetting the victim who they danced with at the wedding and they laughed and they tell her she looked pretty and she's part of the family and all this sort of nonsense. Now that she's dead, they don't care about her anymore. And let me tell you a personal story. I'm married and I love my wife and I've done everything for her. We've been together about 14 years and I've never abused my wife. We've gotten into arguments, but I've never stooped to the level of calling her names and, abuse. Never. You will never hear someone say that I abused them. But you wouldn't believe that my wife's brother said that I was verbally abusing my wife before we were married. And you wouldn't believe that my wife's sister was co-signing on what he was saying. And it hurt me. It broke my heart because I actually liked my wife's brother, my brother-in-law. And I liked my wife's sister. And we were having a good relationship. Well, I thought we were having a good relationship. So my wife was telling her brother and sister that didn't happen. And they were insisting that it happened, even though they wasn't around. And my mother-in-law said it didn't happen. And my daughter, who's with us practically 24/7, she never heard me abuse her mother in any way. So, and I know for a fact it didn't happen because I know that's just not me. As I said, it just shows you how your husband or your wife's family is not really your family. Because when shit hit the fan, they're going to pick their blood, even if you haven't done anything wrong. But it hurt me so much. Our relationship could never be the same ever again. It just made me want to cry. As a grown man, I'm a man, I don't cry. Unless I'm at a funeral or sometimes with these cases, it really hits me, right? But I'm not a crying man. But I'm telling you, when I heard what they were saying about me and how they felt about me, and I'm telling you, listen, I'm a good man and I've never abused my wife. Never called her names, no matter what we have gone through. And we've gone through some stuff and I've never stooped to that level to abuse her in any way. Not physically, not verbally. Ever since I saw my father abusing my mother when I was around 4 or 5, there's no way I could ever do that to a woman. So it hurt me so bad that they were saying something that was totally untrue. And at the moment, there's tears running down my face. I was just talking about this, but anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that when you marry somebody, you're only marrying that person. Because when shit hit the fan, everybody's going to look out for their own blood. And even if you never did anything wrong, they're still going to turn against you. You see, Shakeia, she was murdered by her ex-boyfriend, Amir. And we didn't hear not one peep from his family. Nothing. Not one of them. Nobody. Not an aunt, or uncle, a mother, father. Nobody. Because they're protecting a murderer. And you know why they're protecting a murderer? For a simple reason. Because they're related by blood. I hope they can catch Amir soon. Because this guy killed this girl in broad daylight for no reason at all. And now he's living in hiding while he's running from the law. But I got faith. I got faith that they're going to eventually catch him. And he should get life in prison. The only way Shakeia was going to get away from Amir was to disappear. She didn't have the means to disappear. She didn't have the money. And that's why you need help. You need your family. You need friends. You need people to chip in to help you get out of a bad situation. I feel very sad for her father because his daughter is gone, murdered, and he's going to have to suffer every day knowing that his daughter is gone and her killer is still at large. The last thing I want to say is about this channel, and I want to thank everyone for subscribing because we have reached 1,000 subscribers. And I really started posting seriously from August of 2024. And by January of 2025, we got to 1,000 subscribers. And I just want to thank everyone who have subscribed and who listen to the videos. I do like engaging with people about these topics. So if you have any opinion on any of these cases, feel free to drop a comment or send me an email. I love to communicate with all my subscribers. So I want to say thank you to everyone. That's it for this video, and I'll see you all in the next one.